All right, guys, we are on Wednesday, Thursday of week 1, June curriculum. And so before you get going, make sure you get your body warmed up, do those jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, and do some front ups as well, 10 on each side, and then finish with 30 seconds of either mountain climbers or just holding a plank, ready, set, go. All right, so today we're going to talk about palm strike used to break a board. Now this is different than the self-defense palm strikes we worked on in our last video, right? Those, you got your hands up and boom, boom, you're going out straight from here. You're not pulling way back and letting them know that you're coming to hit, but they're nice and quick, boom, boom, and you're moving in. All right, now today, the board breaking palm strike is different, right? This is not self-defense, this is purely martial arts for fun, showing off your ability. All right, so Ms. Elkin, come on out here. So when we go to do a board breaking, totally different from self-defense. All right, so she's holding this board out for me. The way we do it is we want to get as much power as we can by leaning back. So it's lean back, push through, lean back, push through. So that when you go to do a board break, this is the sequence that it goes. You practice a couple of times. Lean back, push through, lean back, push through, putting your palm right on the spot where you want to hit it each time. After you do those 3 practices, you salute. And then you're going to do 2 more practices. 1, 2, and then on the 3rd one, you go as hard as you can and you yell nice and loud, go! And you go straight through. All right, thank you, Ms. Elkin. So, think about those differences, right? When I'm breaking a board, I'm leaning way back and pushing way through, reaching as far forward as I can, lean back, push through, okay? So this is different from self-defense. Self-defense is boom, boom, right? I'm not pulling back to let them know it's coming, okay? So I really want you to think about those differences between self-defense palm strikes and board breaking palm strikes, which is really slow, really telegraphing and practicing. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna practice right side back ready stance, and we're gonna practice. You always wanna hit with your stronger side. That's gonna be with your reverse palm, with this back side. You practice leaning back, put your weight on your back foot, bring your hand back here by your ear. Your front hand is kind of like you're targeting, okay? This, where your fingertips are on this hand, is right where you're gonna push through and bring that striking hand. It's rock back, push through, rock back, push through. So if you are right-handed, then you certainly want to strike with your right hand. But if you're left-handed, practice with your left side back and rock back, push through with the left side, okay? So here's the deal. If you are at home and you want to arrange for your kids to be able to actually break a board for their test video or when they test on Zoom with Master Folio or Master Johnson, you can arrange with Master Folio to pick up that piece of wood that we'll be ordering for test day, okay? But in the meantime, for practicing, we have practice boards here at the studio that we'll be practicing with. And so if you're at home, you'll just have to practice the movement, rock back, push through, rock back, push through. Practice doing that 3 times, then you salute. And then you 2 more practices, 1, 2, and then as hard as you can, no! And really blast it through. So just think about the difference between self-defense palm strikes and board breaking palm strike. Totally different movement. All right, so practice that rock back, push through, and then also practice feeling the difference with those self-defense ones as well. All right, ready, set, go. So next thing we're going to work on learning today is a move called bob and weave. All right, now this is it's more a little bit martial arts sparring and even boxing style. But the idea is that if you're in your ready stance and there's someone who's threatening you and they're saying, I'm gonna fight you, right? And they decide to take this big giant punch and go, wah, and they're coming for your head. Well, lucky for you, they're not very good fighters because they pull their arm way back and you can see that arm swinging. That gives you time to do what's called a bob and weave. Basically, you're ducking under that punch. So here's what that looks like. You're in your ready stance. If their punch is coming from this side over here, I want to step under their punch and come up right up here. Okay? If their punch is coming from this side over here, I'm going to go the other way. And you come right back up. So the idea is you're keeping your hands up, keeping your eyes up. And you're going to, if you're going to move that way, pick up that foot, go down, and come up. If you're going to move the other way, pick up that foot as you step, go down, and come. Now, it's really important that when you're doing this move, you don't just bend over, right? Because now I can't even really see you guys well. And that means that they have an opportunity to strike you in another way because you can't see everything they're doing. So what you really got to work on is keeping your chest up, keeping your hands and eyes up as you go down and up, right? It's only your feet and legs that move and bend. The rest of your body stays still and you go down and up, okay? There's a couple different ways you can practice this. If you have a partner, they can just give you some slow, big haymaker punches, right? We're not actually going to hit them. We want them to start out slow and learn that movement of going to the outside of the punch, right? So if I'm punching at you, you want to step that way to come up over here on this side of my punch. Same with the other side. You would want to step that way and come up on this side of the punch over here, all right? So bob and weave with those hands up. And I want you to do 20 of these, going back and forth. 1, 2, 3. All right, go all the way up to 20, keeping your chest up, keeping your hands up, keeping your eyes up. And then if you have a partner there with you who can throw some punches for you to go under, that's a great way to practice them and get used to something swinging at you and reacting to it. All right, you don't have to go 100% full speed on those punches, but we're helping them learn how to react and move with something coming towards them without going like this. Right, we want to avoid closing our eyes and ducking. It's just getting down underneath that punch with your hands still up and your eyes up. All right, so 20 bob and weaves each direction. If you got a partner, practice throwing some punches and have fun with it. All right, ready, set, go. Okay, so this part of the video is going to be a little bit longer than usual because doing our sheet, what we're doing on our sheet is going to move into something that we're practicing today. All right, so we're going to start with the sheet. Our word is patience. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about real quick is the definition. The ability to calmly wait or put up with pain or trouble without getting upset or angry. That is hard to do, guys, okay? There's all sorts of different times, especially as a kid, when you get told no, or you're told that you have to wait, and you really want to get upset and angry because you're not getting what you want, you don't want to wait, and you're feeling impatient, okay? Impatient is the opposite of patient. Impatient means not patient. And we really want to practice being able to wait without getting upset and angry, okay? And it's not just waiting, but sometimes putting up with pain or trouble, okay? Maybe you got injured and it hurts when you move your body, okay? And every time it hurts, you want to go, oh man, why did this happen to me? Right? But when you make a big deal out of it, then people start to think that maybe it's not as bad as you're saying it is, right? So patience can equal a little bit of toughness too, because if all you're doing is whining and complaining all the time, then people will start getting sick of hearing that just because you're hurting. But it's okay to say, man, that hurts, but then keep going and do your best to do what you can do and do what you need to do, even if it hurts, okay? But being able to do it without getting upset or angry, right? It's understandable to not like discomfort and being in pain or having to wait or deal with difficult things. But when we practice patience, it helps us get better at just dealing with it and not throwing a big fit, okay? So, number 1 on our sheet, not interrupting other people. So this is going to take us into what we're going to be practicing today, not interrupting other people. So there's 2 ways to interrupt. Last month with courtesy, we talked about patiently waiting when you interrupt someone, all right? So like mom or dad or whoever you need is maybe they're in a conversation with another grown-up or on the phone, or maybe they are just looking at their phone, which a lot of parents do. I do. We need to get better about not doing that so much. But you just need to ask an adult a question, or you just have something you want to tell them that it's not an emergency, but you want their attention, and so you need to patiently wait, right? So you go up to them and you gently put your hand on their shoulder or their arm and just quietly say their name. Say mom or dad, and leave it at that, because what they're gonna do is they're gonna like touch your hand, let you know that they know you're there. Okay, so parents got to practice this too, and then you need to wait. Okay, maybe they need to finish their conversation, and they might turn to you and say, please wait a minute while I finish this conversation, right? Or you just have to wait, because you can hear and see that they're talking to someone or in the middle of something. Sometimes they might be like in the middle of writing an email or something, and so they need to finish those thoughts, get the thoughts written out before they can turn to you and be like, okay, what's going on? Okay, so you have to practice patience with your parents or whatever adult or older person it is that you're just wanting their attention. Okay, so politely interrupting, waiting patiently until they're ready to give you their attention, right? That does not mean going up and tapping on their shoulder, say, hey, right? That's so rude and disrespectful. Or tugging on their shirt, or putting your hand in front of their face and going, hey, that's really rude and disrespectful, okay, guys? So I want you to work on patiently interrupting your family, and that's something you can practice with your parents or even with older siblings. Have them pretend like they're talking on the phone in a conversation, okay? And then you practice politely waiting while they finish their conversation or email or whatever it is that they're doing to help you practice patiently waiting. Now, there's another way to interrupt that is not patient. And it's important that we talk about this, because sometimes you might be in a situation where there's an emergency, okay? And when there's an emergency, like someone is bleeding, there's something on fire, where someone's in danger, okay? Maybe you're in the backyard playing on the trampoline and somebody somehow fell off and they're saying their leg hurts, right? Those are situations where you must interrupt as loudly and urgently as possible, right? Because if you practice just gently, quietly waiting while someone's outside with their leg broken because they fell off the trampoline, that's not good, right? So you got to think about, okay, what kind of situation is this? Is this an actual emergency, or is this just something I want? Okay, so if someone's in danger or injured, bleeding, fire, okay, if it's something important that, now, the ice cream truck driving by, that's not an emergency, okay? I'm sure your parents can hear it too. And if they wanted you to get ice cream, they would assist you with that, okay? So, danger situations are when you must interrupt. And you can't just come up and say, hey mom, somebody fell off the trampoline and I think they're hurt, right? Because if she's talking to her phone and you're just kind of going, no, she's gonna be like, okay, hang on a minute, honey. She doesn't know that it's an emergency. So if there's an emergency, that's when you get loud. You have to get loud and say, mom, Sarah fell off the trampoline and her legs, she says her leg hurts really bad. I don't know if it's broken or what, but can you come right away, right? Or maybe you notice like a grass fire out in the backyard, or, somewhere not too far away from your property, and you run in and say, Dad, I see fire and smoke just on the other side of the fence or in the backyard or something, right? That's an emergency. You don't want to walk up and go, hey, Dad, there's something on fire outside. And then they'll be like, what? That's an emergency, and they'll run outside, right? So when it's an emergency, you have to get excited, you have to get loud, you have to get their attention. If someone's bleeding, you don't just say, Mom, hang on a minute, honey, and then you just wait while they're sitting there bleeding. No, you gotta make it clear that there's a problem and what the problem is, right? If you just say, hey, I need you right now, well, your parents don't know if you're just getting excited about something that you really want or if there's actually an emergency. So you have to clearly say what the problem is. Nice and loud, let them know what happened, what's going on, as loudly and clearly as possible so that they know they need to rush out with you. Okay, so there's patiently interrupting and waiting when it's for something that you just want. And then there's urgently, loudly interrupting when there is an emergency and you need help. Okay? I want you to practice that with your parents or your older siblings, pretending different ways, whether it's just something you want, like you're asking to go play with the neighbor, or you were outside playing with their neighbor and now they're bleeding because something happened, right? So practice the different ways to interrupt. And parents, if they just come up and say, hey, Sarah fell and she's bleeding, right? You got to help them understand that they need to get more animated, they need to be louder and tell you what's going on, okay? So practicing the difference between quietly, patiently waiting for things you want and then urgently, energetically, loudly interrupting when there's an emergency. So that's what I want you guys to practice today, and that'll be it for this day's video. We'll see you next time.